In 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3, the Apostle Paul writes, "The head of every man is Christ, the head of woman is man, and the head of Christ is God." This verse has sparked much debate, but at its core it reveals a profound truth about the relationship within the Godhead. When we say God is his head, we are acknowledging the Father's ultimate authority. This doesn't diminish Jesus' divinity, but rather highlights the beautiful order within the Trinity. Just as a human head leads and directs the body, the Father leads and directs both the Son and the Holy Spirit. It's about a hierarchy of roles, not a difference in essence. The Father is the source, the Son is the expression, and the Spirit is the power. This verse sets the stage for understanding the Trinity, a concept that might seem complex, but is foundational to the Christian faith. Throughout the Bible, we see examples of Jesus willingly submitting to the Father's will. He prayed to the Father, sought his guidance, and ultimately obeyed his plan, even unto death on the cross. This submission wasn't a sign of weakness, but a testament to the perfect unity and love within the Trinity. The concept of the Trinity might seem paradoxical. How can God be one and yet three at the same time? Yet, this is the mystery and the beauty of our faith. The Bible clearly teaches that there is only one God, Deuteronomy 6 verse 4. Simultaneously, it reveals God existing as three distinct persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Each person of the Trinity is fully God, possessing all the attributes and glory of deity. The Father is not the Son is not the Spirit is not the Father, yet they are one God, united in essence, purpose, and love. Think of the sun. We see the sun's light, we feel its warmth, and we know its power. These are all distinct aspects of the sun, yet they are inseparable and all part of the same Son. Similarly, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are distinct expressions of the one true God, each with unique roles, yet inseparably united. The Gospel of John begins with a powerful declaration. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1 verse 1. Here, John introduces Jesus as the Word, the eternal Son who has always existed with God the Father. This verse shatters any notion of Jesus being a created being or a mere prophet. John clearly states that Jesus, the Word, was and is God himself. This is not a metaphor or a symbolic title. It is a direct affirmation of Jesus' full and equal divinity with the Father. John goes on to describe how the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. John 1 verse 14. In other words, the eternal Son of God, who was with God from the beginning, took on human form in the person of Jesus Christ. This act, known as the Incarnation, is fundamental to our faith. One of the most compelling accounts of Jesus' divinity is found in John chapter 20, verses 24 to 29. After his resurrection, Jesus appeared to his disciples, including Thomas, who was absent during Jesus' initial post-resurrection appearance. Thomas doubted, declaring he wouldn't believe unless he saw and touched Jesus' wounds. A week later, Jesus appeared again, this time with Thomas present. Jesus invited Thomas to touch his wounds, saying, "Do not be unbelieving, but believe." Thomas, overwhelmed with awe and conviction, responded with a profound declaration, "My Lord and my God." Jesus didn't rebuke Thomas for calling him God. Instead, he commended his faith. This encounter leaves no room for ambiguity. Jesus, the resurrected Christ, is recognized and worshipped as God, the one true God. The Apostle Paul provides another powerful affirmation of Jesus' divinity in Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 to 20. He describes Jesus as the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. Here, firstborn doesn't imply that Jesus was created. Instead, it speaks of his preeminence, his supremacy over all creation. Paul continues, "For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him." This passage unequivocally identifies Jesus as the agent of creation, the one through whom God the Father brought everything into existence. If Jesus is the creator of all things, he cannot be a created being himself. He must be God, the one who exists outside of creation and who holds all things together by the power of his word. Paul concludes this passage by affirming that in him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. Understanding 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3 isn't about diminishing Jesus' position, but highlighting the beautiful harmony within the Trinity. Jesus, as the eternal Son of God, willingly chose to submit to the Father's will, not out of obligation, but out of perfect love and unity. Throughout his earthly ministry, Jesus demonstrated his submission to the Father, always seeking to do his will and glorify him. This submission wasn't a sign of inferiority, but a reflection of the perfect unity and love that exists within the Godhead. Jesus' submission to the Father doesn't negate his divinity. Instead, it reveals the depth of his love and the perfect harmony within the Trinity. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are one God, eternally existing in perfect relationship, each person distinct yet inseparable, united in purpose, power, and love.